What up, guys? Jason Guyman here with King of Pressure Wash and ChristmasLights.io, and tonight I'm going to talk about what you need to do as you are doing in-person quoting and how you can do in-person quoting. Last week I talked about online quoting, and tonight I am going to talk about how to do in-person quoting, some tips and tricks, things that you can do so that way you can get better, higher tickets, higher close rates, higher prices, and you can help build your packages more. Now, I am doing this one on my Christmas light page and my pressure wash page, so I will be talking a little bit about each, and as a whole, if it works for both, I will be hitting on that also. So I am going to be doing a little bit of both. So I know I've got some Christmas light guys in here and some Christmas light girls and some pressure washing people. And so that is what I am going to be hitting on, of how we can do better quoting so that way you can get higher tickets, right? Because that's one goal. How do we get our average ticket up? And two, how do we get our close rate up, right? And so by doing in-person quotes can help with both of these here. So that is a way that you can do that. So before we get started here, the book of the week. This has been a book of the week for the last couple weeks, and this is a really good book. I'm going through it with our mentorship and this is one of those books that you just don't go through it and be like, yeah, that's some really good stuff. It's one of the books that you really need to apply, right? Read a chapter and apply something out of that chapter. This is a very good book of applying something out of every chapter. It's definitely something that will help you grow your business. If you want to grow your business, give me a thumbs up, because that is my goal. How can I help you grow your business? And so I know you all come on here and listen to me, but also I want to give you a little bit of homework of taking action, right? Read this book and take action. I promise you it will help you out a lot. So if you want to grow your business in 2024, put a number, heck yeah, in there. Put a number one. I want to be number one this year in 2024. And I would highly advise you to read this book, because it is a great book that will make you take action. And it was one of the books the name was like Choose Your Enemies Wisely, right? And it didn't make a whole lot of sense. But as I've been reading this book, it definitely makes a lot of sense. And so this week I have been in a landscaping class. If you follow me on TikTok, I've done some live TikToks. I've also done some videos, and I've done some pictures of the live in-person landscape lighting that we are having this week with Haven Lighting. There's about 25, there's almost 30 some people there. It's been really cool. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about marketing. So that's the first day that I'm actually going to be speaking. And then Friday is all about Christmas lights. And so that is definitely something that I'm excited. And it's really exciting to see all the different cool things of the landscape lighting stuff that we did. This wasn't one that you just go listen to a bunch of people talk. You actually got to do stuff. Like, you got to use the hammer drill. You got to use the core bit drilling. You didn't just get to watch somebody to do it. You actually got to put your hands on it and get this stuff done, right? This isn't, ooh, watch this person and then I'll go figure it out in myself. It's, ooh, if I screw it up, I screw it up here, so that way I learn. Because as most of you learn from your screw ups and your failures, and so that's why this class is 100% hands-on. Today we actually put lights on a commercial building. Like, you actually got to drill through the stucco, run the wires down the J channel, everything. Learn about the wires that you're supposed to put in there. That's a special wire. So we got to do all of this stuff for the students that showed up for this class. So it's really good hands-on training. And so I personally have never done landscape lighting. I've been through another landscape lighting class, and I've been through this one. And this one, you got to get your hands dirty. You got to, you learned how to, today we showed them how when you cut the water line, how you fix it, the sprinkler system, how to fix it, the coax cable, how to fix it, how to fix the dog cable, how to fix all of the things that you screw up as you are doing landscape lighting. So that is what we did today. So with that, how's everybody doing? We got Mr. John Hall. I know I sent the message out about 2 minutes early, but you all showed up anyway, and I appreciate that. Time for school. Jason, back at it with a banger. That's right. We're going to talk about how to do in-person quoting. I think this is something that a lot of people struggle with, and that is why we are going to hit on that, because I want to help you all grow your business. Mr. J looks like he's been losing weight. Keep up the grind. We're going to learn some tips, tricks, and things to build bigger packages. That is exactly right. Good evening, everyone, from Palm Coast, Florida, in the house. That book gets better as you go along with it. This is one of the books. Also, this is the second time I'm reading through it, and it's like one of those books that as you read through it, you learn a lot. And then this is a book that I actually bought that I actually just got this book. So that way you can go through it, and then you can see, a little bit better of what you can do to help you keep growing your business. And so I actually got the hardcover book, not just the other, listening to it. Unique Contracting Services is from Alabama here. Daniel Welsh said, great book. Sorry I missed your phone call today. I was in class all day today. That's why I didn't hear it when it came through. Thumbs up from Palm Coast, Florida. We got a bunch of number ones wanting to be number one. I want to be number one in 2024. Mr. Brian Fletcher from down in Tennessee, Cleveland, Tennessee. Wife wants me to learn landscape lighting, but I want to stay focused on pressure washing. No, or Robbie, that sounds like a good problem to have. Mr. Gabriel, how are you doing? What's up? Yep, I'll be down there. You look pretty stiffy in a tie. Well, I know I might need to wear it more often. We asked to quote new construction cleaning could lead all the way with the new Wawas down here quoting. Blessed I got off in time. All right, so Mr. Sean from Newfoundland. Not trying to change the subject. Can a 10 to 15 gallon soft wash system run a surface cleaner? No, it cannot. If you have gas powered, no, it cannot. You will need a pressure washer for that to happen. All right, so what are some things as we go to an in-person quote? First off, it all starts on the phone call. It all starts with the very first phone call coming in. And so when we set this up for an in-person quoting, we really need to set it up with how we answer the phone and how we set the expectations. And, whether we are doing pressure washing or Christmas lights or anything, we always want to pre-qualify that customer. If I am going to go out there to that customer's house and look at that customer and meet with that customer, and if the customer is not home, there's no use you going out there, because that's the whole purpose of you going out there. So you need to make sure that the customer is home, and you really want to make sure that the person that is going to make the decision is home too, because the last thing you want them to say is, well, I need to talk to my husband. Well, want husband there if that's going to be the case, because we want to help eliminate the things that can cause us not to get the job, right? And so these are things that we have to look at when we are on the phone. And so as we are doing a phone script, we need to make sure that the customer understands how our process is. And so if we don't inform our customer how the process is, they're going to be like, well, why are you showing up at my house? And so the reason why we want to do in-person quoting is to help get the higher average ticket. Now, I don't care if you do in-person quoting or online quoting. I went through in-person last week. This week I'm doing online. And so the reason why I want to do in-person or online is because I want to see if I can go in that person's house and sit down at their dinner table and see if I can close a $2,000-$3,000 average ticket. That's my goal, right? My goal is hey, can I go close a $2,000-$3,000 average ticket? And so I know that sounds crazy, but it works. And so our good friend Chris last year had an average ticket of over $2,000 with a close rate of about 50%. And so this is why it is important that you can go do pressure washing and get you an average ticket of over $2,000 with a 50% close rate, which is pretty freaking awesome. And so the things that we have to do to be able to do this is set it up on the phone call, right? When we get that phone call, we need to walk them through. We need to give them options. Hey, Miss Jones, we have, so our process is blank is coming out to give you an estimate. Yes, we're going to get them on that first name basis, right? Yes, Jenny, whatever this girl's name is. Yes, Jenny, Mr. Jason will be out there to walk around the house and see what all you have going on and how we're going to be able to help you get your home clean or help you get your home lit, right? That is the whole purpose of this is we're going to help them understand our process. So that way they're not like, well, what's he going to do here? So when Jason gets to the house, he will probably come knock on your door and ask you if you will walk around the house with him. And so that way you can point out what you want and don't want, or what you may need or not need. And so as Jason does this, he will walk around and then he will give you a quote and give you your options on how you can get your home cleaned at that time, right? Because we want to give them the option right then and there. And so what's a good way to answer the phone call? Or what's a good way to answer the first phone call? Is, hey, Bob. No, that is not a good way to do it. Obviously, we're going to answer that phone call as we would, right? We're going to first answer with our name because we're going to identify as a human, right? I know I talk a lot about AI, and AI is a lot, but first thing we're going to do is talk about being a human, right? I am Jason, and I want to know who your name is, because once I figure that out, we're going to be best buds because we're going to get on a first name basis. And usually when you're on a first name basis, that usually means a lot better for you. So we are going to ask that, and then we're also going to tell them who we are with, right? Hello, I am Jason, and I am with ChristmasLights.io. Hello, I am Jason. I am with Pressure Washing whatever. They know they called the Pressure Washing Company or the Christmas Light Company or whatever company you're with, right? I hear so many phone calls of, hello, and they're like, do you do pressure washing? Yeah, we do that. Right? That doesn't do any good. So we want to identify who we are, and we want to identify what we do. Those are the two things we're going to identify. So that way, as that customer calls, they understand who they are calling and know what they're getting, right? We don't want to be like, yeah, we do that. So these are two things that we want to do to help them identify who we are and where we're coming from. So once we do that, we're going to go through our spiel. We're going to tell them, how our process is. And we're going to let them know what days work better for them. You always want to give 2 days. And then you always want to ask, is morning or afternoons better for you? And then once they give you that, you want to give them 2 dates, right? This day or this day. Does this day work good for you or this day work good for you? And so why you're doing this for is you want to give them options a little bit, right? You don't want to be like, well, this day, no. Let me see what the next one, right? So we're giving them options to be able to help them be able to be like, yes, this time's better, or no, this time's not better. And so this is why we are doing this. And so my question to you people that are on here, how many out here do in-person quoting, or how many people have tried to do in-person quoting, and what was the thing that kind of either scared you or hold you back? So that would be my question to you. So after we get the time set, we're going to obviously go through the phone call and say, awesome, we got you down for February 25th at 10 o'clock. Jason will be there. And, again, our goal is to make you so happy that you want to give us a 5-star review. Yes, I am asking for a 5-star review right out of the get-go on that phone call, right? I've half qualified them to say that, hey, our minimum price is, $800 for Christmas lights. It's $400 for pressure washing, because some people think that you'll do pressure washing for $100, and that's what they think, or they think you'll hang lights for $100, and we're not a $100 person. And so that is why we want to pre-qualify these people right out of the get-go, so then that way they understand the price of what the price is going to be when we get there. And so after we get there, obviously, we do not be late, right? You need to be 10 minutes early when you show up to the appointment. And when you show up to the appointment 10 minutes early, you don't sit in your car for 10 minutes waiting for that time. In fact, there's some sales tactics out there that say as soon as you get there, you get out of the car and you go in, because otherwise it looks like you're casing the joint. It looks like you're looking at things. And so you go knock and you go talk to them. Right? This is where you don't go in crappy old clothes looking like a hobo. I know some of you struggle with this, but you got to get rid of the hobo clothes when you're going. And this is something that is hard for me, and this is why I don't like doing in-person quotes. I would much rather do online because I can wear my hobo clothes. And so this is where you want to wear nice dress slacks. You want to wear a nice polo. You want to have maybe a badge so you identify as you. And if you have a nice vehicle that's identified as you, right? These are all things that are going to set you apart from your competitors. They're going to set you apart from your hobos, right? Because you're going to dress nice and they're going to dress as a hobo. And we don't want to look like a hobo. You want to dress nice. And so this is something that's going to set you apart by doing this. I know when Chris, he's got nice shoes on, he's got the dress slacks on, he's got a button up, sometimes he's got a suit and tie on, right? These are things that are going to set you apart. Right? They're going to set you apart from everybody else. And so when we're walking up to the door, we are going to look and see what we can identify as. Maybe they have kids. Maybe they are a whatever state you're from, football fan, right? Ohio State, UK basketball, whatever it might be, you're going to look and you're going to see if you can start identifying. And so that way you can start building that relationship. And so as you go up, you're going to go knock on the door. Now, don't stand next to the door looking into the door going, wonder if anybody's in there, right? Because now we just become Peep and Tom, and we don't want to become a Peep and Tom. So once you knock on the door, hit the doorbell, step back about 3 to 4 steps, which is going to be, 5-6 feet from the door. And you're going to make sure that when that door opens, that they can look out the cracked piece. You're not standing behind it. You have your hands out in front of you. You don't have them in your pocket. You don't have them behind your back, right? They want to see your hands. However, this is a good time to have a piece of paper or something in your hands, so that way it is showing my hands. That's the whole purpose of this, is we want to show our hands. And so as you're showing your hands and as you're doing this, next step is obviously when they come to the door, we're going to say, hello, Miss Jones, and you're going to identify who you are. I am Jason. I am with Pressure Wash Help. I am with, Christmas lights, whatever I am with, and I'm here to give you an in-person quote today. And so do you have a few minutes that you can come out here and we can walk around the house and we can see what all we can do to help you? Yes, you can. Awesome. Let me get your shoes on. That'll be great. I'll be waiting for you when you get them on, and we can get this done, right? And so as I am walking around the house, I am not talking about pressure washing and Christmas lights. I know that's crazy, but that's not what I'm doing. I am trying to figure out who this person is. I'm trying to figure out their love language. I'm trying to figure out their disc profile, so that way I know how to sell to them. Because if their disc profile is a type S and I go straight to trying to sell to these people, I might as well just get back in my car and go, because it's not going to happen at that point, right? That's not going to happen. And so if it's a type D and I want to sit there and talk about all the feelings and all that, that ain't going to happen, right? And that's going to be. So I need to figure out who this person is, what their love language is, so that I can sell to that exact person. Because if I know that part of information, I know that. I know that if they're a high C type personality, they're analytic, then I got to give them all the information. They already have all the information. I got to give them more information because they want to make sure that everything is right. And that is the only type of personality that I'm going to talk about pressure washing or Christmas lights. Those are your engineers. Those are your lawyers. That's who that type of person is that analytic type of person that I'm going to have to give them all. Now, that person is only like 11% of the people out there. So the most of the people, or 70%, is the type personality of a type S personality, right? That's the worker type personality, and that's 70% of the people. So that's the person I'm shooting for, is that type of person. So that type of person, they want to know and build that relationship, right? They're big on trust. They won't trust anybody. And so I'm going to become their best friend. And when I become their best friend and I know it, I will be able to sell to them a lot easier than the person of trying to push something down them that they're not going to buy from you. And so that's why it's important that we look at this stuff and we sell in person. And so as we're going around, I looked and said, hey, they like Wildcats. Hey, do you like the Wildcats, right? Or if I can see, talk about their family, if it's Christmas lights, what are you having coming? Who's coming over for Christmas? Oh, your grandson's coming over for his first Christmas? Oh, man, this house is going to look so amazing. It's going to be there's going to be lights, and it's going to be, that grandkid will never forget that, right? And so we're building on those relationships, not, we use LED bulbs and we use bleach and blah, 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 blah. And we have high pressure equipment and blah, 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 blah. They don't give two craps about that. I know you give two craps about that, but your customer doesn't give two craps about that. And so this is why it is important that as we sit there and we start building this relationship with this person, because we know that type S's personality is a 69% personality, that's majority out there. Well, guess what? I'm going to hit on that a whole lot, and I'm going to build on that type of relationship versus all the other relationships. And so as we do this, we're going to walk around and we're going to talk and build that relationship. We're going to talk about the grandkids coming over, and we're going to talk about their kids and what they do. And all your kids play sport? Awesome. What kind of the sport? Oh, really? They're a goalie? And we're just going to build that relationship with them. And, every once in a while we can say, hey, did you know that roof up there is pretty dirty and black? And we do have a solution for that. And, oh, yeah, what about your kids, right? And then, oh, you know what? Your gutters are over full. We don't do that, but I have a person that can do that. And we're going to build that relationship as we are walking around this house, whether it's for Christmas lights, pressure washing, whatever it is. We're going to build that relationship with them. And then the next thing we're going to do is say, all right, Miss Jones, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go out to my car and I'm going to figure out, your quote, and I would love to come sit at your kitchen table. Now, I know a lot of people don't like coming into your kitchen table, but this is why we're dressing nice. And when people sit down at the kitchen table, that means you're best friends, right? So we want to become their best friend. And then that's where you're going to go give your 3 packages, and you're going to give them that. And the other thing is too, you can give a high price out there, kind of be funny. It'll be like, you know what? Our price is less than $5,000, right? And then you can give package 1 is this. This is package 1. We can clean everything. And then when we go into the kitchen table, we're not just going to go straight into pricing either. We're going to talk for another 10 minutes, another 10, 20 minutes, building that relationship. And then the last 5 minutes is when we're going to give our quote. And so as we give our quote, we're going to give 3 quotes and, hey, package 1 is this. And we're going to, we will clean your roof. We'll clean everything. This house will be amazingly there. Christmas lights, man, this house is going to look amazing. Your grandkids is going to love it. It's going to be the best thing out there best house on the block. All the neighbors are going to be talking about how amazing your house looks. And that's, and here's the other thing that we can do too is, oh, you need this done by Saturday. We can be able to get this done on Thursday, so that way by the time all your guests get here on Friday. Because see, when we start talking to these people and we figure out why they need us here, we get a lot of the information of why they are calling us, right? We're not just being like, yep, we do pressure washing, blah, 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 right? If I know they're on a deadline, I can hit on that deadline, right? Oh, your kids are coming over next Saturday, so that means I got to get it up before next Saturday, right? Or I need to get it cleaned by next Saturday. You're having a wedding there. Oh, I got to get it cleaned or whatever it is I can do, and I can sit there and I can help build that community, and I can help build that relationship with that person. So then that way, as I do that, I'm able to sell them when I'm done. And as we're walking around the house and as I'm talking to them, I'm not the one doing all the talking. In fact, I'm asking questions to get these people talking, because the more you talk, the less they talk, the less information that you have. And so you want them to talk a whole lot so you get a whole lot of information, because the more information that you have, you will be able to do that. You want to know what their dogs' names are. You want to know what their cats' names are. You want to know what their kids' names are, right? You want all this information. And so this other book that I've pushed in the past, that in the Ultimate Sales Machine, he talks in here about how you want to see if you can get whoever gets the most information wins. Because guess what? We're not just going to be like, oh, yep, that's here. No, we're going to write that information down. We're going to go get a piece of paper and we're going to write it down. We're going to put it in their CRM. So then that way, when we go to do our follow-up, we can say, how is this? How is that? Right? And this is why we do this is so that way we're building a relationship. Because do you think your competitors are doing it? No, they're not doing that. They're not even answering the phone. That's the number one thing you got to do is answer the phone. Right? And so these are things that you can do. Also, on the way there, I did miss this here. On the way there, make sure that you, call and let them know that, hey, I'm on the way. I'll be there in 15 minutes, right? Because we want to over communicate. When we over communicate, things will get way better for you than under communication. If you're going to be a minute late, hey, Miss Jones, I'm sorry. I'm running about 2 minutes late. I'm going to be there. We're headed that way. I'm at this exit. Obviously, we do not want to be late. We want to make sure. Then also, we want to inspect everything, right? As we're walking around, we're going to inspect, making sure everything is good. We want to do that. Once we're inside, we're going to do the packages, right? We're still going to do packages. You got to do 3 packages. You got to do 3 packages, whether it is for pressure washing or Christmas lights. You got to give them option. You just can't go in with one option and think of it that's it. And whichever option you want to sell, that's going to be however you want to price it. Obviously, most of the time we want the middle package to be our winner package. And so we want to be able to make sure. We want to leave them a quote when we're done. Whether you print it off, whether it's 3-sheet paper that you fill it out and you leave them that quote, so that way you will be able to do it. And then you want to follow up, right? The next day you're going to call them and say, hey, Miss Johnny, whatever it is, I just want to see if there's any questions that you may have or whatever. But obviously we're going to try to sell it, and we're going to be like, if you, however you may want to do it. I know some people do 50%. I know some people do $100 to get on the schedule. Hey, will you give us $100 to get us on the schedule? And that way you will be able to get your service done before when you need it, or 50% for Christmas lights, however that may be. And this is definitely something that you're able to do. Lots of stuff I learned on the streets. I use in pressure washing, just shine and buff it to be presentable. I use love language to get jobs, and love languages in the street to survive not getting killed. And, and the love languages could be, if their love language is time, you sitting there at the table at 25 minutes talking to them, that is quality time to them, right? That is huge. Maybe you throw something in, now you've done gifts, right? Hey, we can hit that curb out there for you, or I brought up your garbage can while we were coming in, right? That's a gift. That's huge. It could be touch, right? You touch as you're giving the presentation, touch the hands. That little bit of touch could be what sends them over the moon, and can definitely make it a big difference at it. So those are all big things that you can do to use that, to be able to make sure that you are following up, you're doing what you need to do, and you can do this. And this works for pressure washing and Christmas lights. This works in anything in sales, to be honest. Communication, learning their 5 love languages, learning, the DISC profile, understanding how people work, understanding how people tick, and then just being a presentation, building value, right? Because when I can build value, and guess what I can also do when I build value, right? My prices go up because I'm building value. And so those are things that will set me apart from my competitors. And you know what? I don't even look at the competitors, because most of them ain't going to show up. They're not going to answer their phone. And so why am I going to worry about the competitor? Don't worry about your competitors. And I've said this over and over and over. You are your competitor. What are you going to do better today than you did yesterday? What did you do yesterday that you got to do one more today? And when you do that, that's what sets you apart from your competitor, right? That's what sets you apart from your competitor, is you do one more thing that you did than you did yesterday. And guess what? When you just do one more thing that you did yesterday, it's a building block, right? And it stacks on top of it. And that's the whole goal of this. This is how you're able to stack up and be better than what you was a year ago. Because if you just do one thing better than you did yesterday, and you do that 365 days, you're 365 times better than when you was a year ago. And so that's why it's so important that you start figuring this stuff out. And if you might say, well, Jason, I don't know what I'm good or bad at. In this book, he talks about, if you're bad at something, you go take classes on it, you read 4 or 5 books on it, and you come better on it. Some of you suck as leaders. Some of you suck as bosses. And so you need to become a better leader so that you can have employees. If you've been through 10 employees and you tell me that people suck and there ain't no body that wants to work, I'm going to look at you and say, look at yourself. Because if you've been through 5, 10 employees, you haven't done your job. You either didn't get them in properly, you didn't do the right things, you don't talk to them properly, you don't know their love languages. What? I need to know the love languages of my employees? Yes, you need to know the love languages of your employees. Yes, you need to know their DISC profile. You need to know how they need to be responded to, because most entrepreneurs are high D type personality, and most of your workers are high S type personality. And guess what? They're completely opposites, right? Type D personalities, they don't care about change. They're going to change, make whatever works. A type S personality hates change. They won't, when you tell them to change, they will flip out and they will go crazy over it. And so this is why it's important that you need to understand this stuff so that you can become a better boss, right? You can become a better owner. You can become a better person overall. You might, if you didn't know this will also help you out with your spouse too, right? And so if you know your love languages of your wife and spouse, guess what? It can help you out. So, and I'll just tell you how things happen usually. Most of the time, whatever you are, your spouse is completely opposite. So you don't have a clue how to do it. My love language and my wife's love languages are completely opposite. Hers is gifts. I don't give two rats about gifts. Mine is touch. She don't give two rats about touch. So the other day, I brought her a gift. I brought her a little piece of chocolate, and it sent her to the moon, right? And that's why it's important that if you understand your employees, you understand your spouse, you understand people, you can sell a lot better. You can be a lot better, right? There's things that will set you apart from everybody else. And that's all I'm trying to help you do to grow your business. You want to know how to get to $100,000? You want to know how to get to $1 million? Learn how to deal with people, learn the psychology of people, and you will grow. I promise you, you will grow. Oh, interesting. Thanks for sharing that, Jamie T. and Jason. Love language and setting yourself up. So, with that, that is how you can do in-person quoting. That's how you can get higher tickets. That's how you can get higher close rates. And I've seen it over and over and over. And it is an amazing thing of what you can do to grow your business. And so these are things that I teach when I do my in-person classes. I go really far in the DISC program. I actually give you the DISC program so you know what you are, because most of you probably don't even know what you are. And so these are things that when you do Jason's in-person classes, and then at the end of my in-person classes, we try to sell to different people. And it's pretty interesting. Like, there was a guy at one of my classes, and his love languages was definitely not touch. Like, I would act like I'd go to touch him, and he would be like, don't you even do it, right? And if you try to touch that person over and over, they think you're a freaking creepster. Now, if their love language is touch, they will love you. They'll be like, he likes me. But the one that doesn't, he'll be like, you're a creepster, right? And so that's why you got to learn how to identify these things so that you can sell to these people a lot better than just being like, you need to buy Christmas lights. We use LED. We make sure that there are bulbs at the peak, and we do blah, blah, and we just spew crap is all we do. We use bleach, and we don't blah, blah, blah. We have a pressure washer, and we got $25,000 worth of equipment, and blah, 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 blah. They don't give two craps about that. They want their house clean. They want to look amazing for their Christmas lights. That's all they care about. So those are things we have to think about when we're selling. Love language is just like saying you have to read the people in the streets, read them to show the real attention, and pressure washing, read them to see what kind of person they are, then proceed 100%. So with that, that's all I have right now. If you have any questions, pressure washing Christmas light questions, you can ask it all down in here. I do have a Christmas light and pressure washing class coming up. You can go to kpwtrain.com. That'll take you to the pressure washing dates for pressure washing. The class I have is for Oregon, or you can go to christmaslights.io is the other place that you can go, christmaslights.io, and that will take you to the in-person class in Oregon. In Portland, I'm doing it with Tim Cray at his pressure washing location, and so it is a one-day pressure washing, one-day Christmas lights, and an all-day marketing class. And yes, I do go over love languages, and yes, I do go over DISC, because I believe it's what sets you apart, right? If you want to be set apart from all your competitors, and even this can help you whether you're trying to get employees, you're trying to get more customers, it will help you either which way that you can do. So let me see what we got for questions up here. Anything? What's a good way to answer the first phone call? I answer that. This happened to me, and I made sure to stop doing it. And, this is something that we get into a trap of it, right? I mean, this is why I put females on the phone calls usually, because they will get into the stories, right? They'll be talking about their kids and all of that kind of stuff. And so that's why I will put a female on the phone 90 times out of 10, 90% of the time, because a female on the phone doesn't get down in the weeds about all the stupid crap. And so that is why I personally put females on the phone of answering the phone calls. When we have female on our phone calls, they close 2-to-1 over a male on the phone call. So it's important that if you can, that is a great way that you can do that. I do Christmas lights and did most of my quotes online, wondering if in person can get a higher ticket. It probably can, because then you can start looking at their trees and you can you can build that more excitement of what you can make things. It does take a little bit more, but it is definitely something that you can do. That is the only way I can do. My struggle is when people see my size, I'm the one doing the work. Pre-qualification is the target market ideal client, right? Yes. I do a mix depending on how far to travel for the in-person quote. I prefer the in-person quote. Always present as a professional, no matter the industry. I agree 100%. When you know to take the leap of faith. When you know to take the leap of faith from full-time to from part-time to full-time. Thank you. So this here is this is one of two of the hardest things to do, is when you go full-time of this, because it is a big leap of faith, right? It is one of those things that, you got to take action, and sometimes you can get laxed, and it can be scary because this is your only income. And so I always try to tell people, if you can have 2 to 3 months of income, so that way you got a little bit of runway to, make sure that you keep the money coming in. And then my next thing is this is a good time to go. Full time is in the spring, because usually April and May are your 2 big months. And so if you can go right before that, that will help you. And then my next thing is when you get to the winter time, you got to make sure that you have money, so when you go to next winter, you don't have no money and be broke. You must work the full time until you can't stand it. And then work it some more. Don't give up until it doesn't work anymore, until it's impossible. Lots of stuff I learned on the streets. Interesting. Thanks for sharing. Keep up the good work. Close on the spot. Doing a disservice to your clients by not letting them say yes. And another thing on this here too is you got to ask, right? If you don't ask for the close, they're not going to give it. And so this kind of goes back to the type of people that in the DISC profile of, if you are not a type D type personality, and you're like a high S and maybe an I, you two will sit there and talk and never ask for the close. And so you have to ask for the close. Now, you don't want to ask too soon, because then we're going to piss them off and they're not going to buy from you anyway, especially if they're a type S personality. And so this is something that as you learn about the personalities, and it's a nice balance, right? Everything's a balance. If you try to push it too soon, you're not going to get it right away either. If you're shoving it down their throat right away, you do need to ask for the close before you leave. And that way, if you're going to do an in-person and be like, I'll send you the quote later, that's the worst thing you can do, because you're done shooting yourself in the foot at that point. So make sure you're asking for the close. So what 3 options would you offer for Christmas lights? I was thinking 2 different permanent lighting systems and then seasonal lighting options. Your thoughts? No, I would be, my 3 quotes would be, I'm kind of going I might shoot myself in the foot, but I would do, obviously, your wreaths, your front line, your wreath, that's package 1. Ground stake lighting's package 2. Package 3 is the roof. Now, I'm not ever a type that you have to do it this way, and I've always been a type of person that you need to lease them, right? You get $8 to $10, $12 a foot. And so there was a guy at the landscape class today, and it's not a bad model, because especially I know a lot of people lose them because they're not their lights. And so what he does is he sells them the lights, but he sells them at $12 to $16 a foot the first year, and every year after that it's 50% to put them back up. And so he's making enough on that first go that every time after that he's still making money. And so basically you got to get to the 3 years where if you would have been at $8, you would have been the same amount at that point. What is that personality profiling called? DISC is what it's called. Love languages also help with firing customers, knowing how to express what you are saying for them to get it. They won't be mad. They have a better understanding than to figure out the problem after. And that's another thing about being a leader, is if you're firing someone and they don't know why you're firing them, then that's a you problem, right? When you fire someone, they should be firing themselves. Hey, you know what? We have a policy that if you're late more than 3 times, you get written up. And so this is a write-up. Hey, you broke this policy that you're not supposed to do this. Here's your next write-up. Then they can't get mad at that point. When they get mad is because you didn't set the expectations of what you need to do. So this is why it's important that we do that. When do you have a live class? I'm in Chicago and would love to learn the trade. And so I will be having, right now I have one in Oregon, but I will have several more. I'm going to have one in Cincinnati probably in April also. I'm going to have one in Indy. I'm going to have some out other places. So I will be having classes coming up. If you go to christmaslights.io or whichever, if you're wanting Christmas lights, you can go to christmaslights.io or you can go to kingofpressurewash.com, and all the dates will be on there at the training. So that's where you can find that. Always learning something new. Love it. And that is definitely something that you got to keep doing, is keep learning. You never know it all. I promise you won't. I went to Type S person last week, and he replied to our text saying he'll remove the moss with his hand. Yes, that is it. Let's talk about post-construction cleaning. Was requested to a quote a site cleaning, which included buildings, flat work, fuel court area, and exterior windows. Can you lead to more? All stores are similar. So here's the thing about new construction cleaning. It sucks. It is definitely a pain in the neck. You get concrete up on the windows, and it will take longer than what you will probably quote it at. It's not real easy at the end of it. The other thing too is you've got to be careful on new concrete. Obviously, we don't want to be blasting new concrete because it's going to pull the top of the cream off of the pressure. Will pull the top of the cream off of that concrete. So we don't want to be doing that either. So make sure you're bidding enough for it. And again, the other thing too is make sure you take lots of pictures. So that way, if it's already damaged, you don't want to be the person that they're blaming it on. Well, he did this, and well, it was damaged because you already damaged it. You know, they got glue on the glass, or they got, glue on the glass. They got glue on the paint, right? And next thing you knew, you knocked the glue off, and now the paint comes off. And so make sure you document everything really well also on new construction. I don't understand why you would discount the service for subsequent years. The same work service is being completed. Why not offer discounts for referrals? Here's what I'm saying about this. If you're going to do like the second method that I'm saying and make it their stuff, you're going to raise your prices. You're not going to be $8 to $12 a foot. You're going to be $12 to $16 a foot the very first year. And then every year after that, you will be half price. And so it will work out the same at the other end of it. And so it's just a way to kind of get around are these my lights or not my lights? Yeah, they're your lights. You're just going to pay a lot more up front for them. This is how I ask for the show without asking directly after I give him the packages. I ask them what package best fits when then don't talk. And that's another good point. Once you give the price, shut up, because the first person loses. So once you give them the price, you don't say another word. You just, because if you start talking, you're going to talk yourself right out of it. You're going to be like, well, I can do this or I can do that. So once you ask for the sell, you shut up. You don't say another word. And it's going to get awkward because they're going to think about it and they're going to be looking at you like this, and you're going to look at them like this, and you're going to turn your head and they're going to turn their head, and you're just going to look at them, and that's all. And it's going to get real weird, but the first person that talks loses. So shut up and just look at them. When they turn their head, you turn your head. It is good to have your license and insurance with you when in-person quoting for commercial as door-to-door knocking. Ask for the sale. Yep. So, awesome stuff. So, the other thing too, you can check out King of Pressure Wash. I have everything there to teach you how to become a successful pressure washing company. If you haven't, it's an online learning. Also, Christmas Lights has its too. Also, every Monday night I go live and do a Zoom call where there's about 20 to 40 people on the Zoom call, and they ask questions and grow their business. Most people in this Zoom call are hitting $100,000 to $200,000 on average. So it's a lot of smart people in there that is on that Zoom call. That is so true. Shut up. Don't say another word after. And it does work. But other than that, I hope that's all I've got for tonight. I've got 2 more days of my days for pressure or Christmas lights training this weekend. Thursday, tomorrow we're going to be talking all about marketing at the landscape lighting, Christmas lighting class that I'm in right now. And then Friday is all about Christmas lights and how to install Christmas lights. And so that's where I will be at for the next 2 days. So it is definitely something where I will be at. Smash that thumbs up, folks. Great info here tonight. So with that, I hope you all have a great night, and we'll see you all later.